How many of these 17 deer hunting secrets are you using right now to make bucks walk straight to your stand instead of around it? Most of what you have been told about pulling bucks into range is built on the wrong idea. The wrong idea is that you attract a buck. You do not attract a mature buck. You route him. You position him. You use what he is already going to do, and you bend the path by 30 yards so it ends inside your shooting lane instead of past it. That distinction is the entire ball game, and once you understand it, the next 17 secrets stop sounding like tricks and start sounding like geometry. I have been hunting for 28 years across 9 states from Pennsylvania, farmland to Wyoming, mule deer country, and I have spent the last decade keeping a notebook on every site, what worked, what failed, and what nobody talks about at deer camp. Stay until the end because secret number 17 is the one I almost did not put in this video, the one an old-timer in southern Vermont showed me on a piece of timber, so small it had no business holding a mature buck, and it does. The first secret is hunting the downwind side of a doe bedding area at 10 in the morning instead of the food source at dawn. By 10 a.m., that doe has been bedded for 2 hours and her scent is at maximum concentration in the still air around her bed. A mature buck cruising the perimeter to scent, check the does without exposing himself, shows up between 10:15 and 11:30 in the pre-rut and rut. Most hunters are walking back to their truck at 9. The buck is walking past your empty stand at 10:30. I covered the data on this in the deer behavior video. But the short version is that mid-morning buck movement is the most consistently ignored daylight window in the entire hunting calendar. Pack a sandwich. Stay in the tree past noon. The mid-morning bucks are out there. They are just waiting for the woods to clear of human activity. And that is exactly what every other hunter on the property hands them, at 9 a.m. sharp. The second secret is the annual date pattern, and if you have never tracked it, you are leaving your best hunts to chance. Individual doe estrus cycles repeat on roughly the same calendar dates every year because the photo period that triggers them does not change. A terrain feature that produced a mature buck encounter on a specific date will produce again in the same date window the following year. And a taxidermist I trust documented 8 bucks killed from one tree over 6 years, and 4 of those were on December 4th specifically. Keep a written log, date, location, wind direction, what you saw, what the deer did. After 3 seasons of data, the patterns are undeniable. I have a notebook page from a stand in northwest Wisconsin that produced mature buck encounters on November 9th in 3 different years. Same tree, same wind, same week. The first time was luck. The second time was coincidence. The third time was data. The third secret is the horizontal rub post, and this is the one that surprised me the most when I started using it. Take a 6-foot Scotch pine branch, fresh cut, and tie it horizontally between 2 posts about 22 inches off the ground, roughly knee height on a grown man. Bucks work it like a natural rub. Yes, they rub their forehead glands on the bark. They rub their preorbital glands. And while they are working it, they are completely stationary, completely distracted, and presenting a clean broadside shot. This is not a long-distance attractor. It is a precision positioning tool for a buck that is already in your zone. The pine sap absorbs each buck's glandular scent and gets more attractive to the next buck that passes through. I learned about this from a write-up in Meat Eater and a bowhunting.com article and tested it on 2 properties in southwest Missouri Ozarks ground. By the 3rd week, the cell camera, that's a trail camera that sends photos to your phone instead of storing them on an SD card, was logging multiple bucks working the same post within a 48-hour window. All one mature 4.5-year-old worked the post for almost 3 minutes on a single afternoon visit and gave the camera a textbook broadside angle the entire time. I did not believe it until the photos came in. My buddy who guides in southern Iowa runs 3 of these on his lease and tells me the same bucks come back to work the same posts week after week, sometimes twice in the same day during the pre-rut. The 4th secret is the scent half moon. Take 4 to 5 scent wicks. Those are felt or cotton strips that absorb liquid scent and slowly release it, and place them in a semicircle 30 to 40 yards downwind of your stand, about the distance from your front door to the curb. Any buck approaching from any downwind angle hits the scent line and follows it toward the center of the arc. The center of the arc is your shooting lane. A single wick can be circled by a smart buck. A semicircle cannot be circled because every angle leads back to the same focal point. You are routing the approach, not attracting. I run this with Evercalm from Conquest Sense during the early season and switch to Tinks number 69 for the rut. Some hunters use plain doe urine, some use food-based attractants, but the geometry of the half moon is what makes it work. The product is secondary to the placement. The fifth secret is the first sit rule, and this one costs more hunters more big bucks than any other mistake on this list. Your best stand should have 0 sits before peak rut, not one early season sit to test the wind, not one quick sit to check the cameras. 0. All GPS collar research from Southeastern Wildlife Studies has confirmed that a mature buck busted at a specific tree adjusts his pattern to avoid that exact location for the rest of the season. One sit at the wrong time costs you the entire stand. Hold it. Protect it. Hunt it on the first day of the second week of November when conditions line up. One sit at the right moment is worth 20 sits at the wrong moments. I learned this lesson the expensive way on a stand in southwest Missouri Ozark country that I ruined with a single early season scouting set 5 years ago. The buck I had been getting cell camera photos of stopped showing up at that location within 48 hours of my sit, and he never came back to that exact tree for the rest of the season. Everything you have heard so far, plus 60 more field-tested techniques, those is what I put together in the Buck Hunter's Bible. 90 pages of deer behavior, science, scent control, scouting methods, stand placement, and rut phase tactics with a quick reference card you can take to the stand. Link in the description below, QR code on screen. The sixth secret is the figure 8 drag trail. A scent drag is a saturated rag or cotton ball you pull behind you on a string for the last leg of your walk to the stand, leaving a scent line behind you. Most hunters drag a straight line from the truck to the tree, which means a buck that crosses the line in either direction has a 50-50 chance of going the wrong way. Walk a figure 8 pattern with your stand at the center. 2 loops intersecting at the tree, each loop roughly 40 yards across, about half the length of a football field. It takes maybe 4 minutes to walk before you climb up. Any buck entering the area from any direction crosses the scent line before he reaches your stand, and the geometry of the figure 8 pulls him toward the intersection point. I read about this in an old Outdoor Life article from years ago, and it is still the most reliable drag trail I have used. The 7th secret is the mock scrape cluster. A mock scrape is a patch of cleared dirt about 2 feet across that you create under an overhanging branch, called the licking branch, to imitate the natural scrapes bucks make to mark territory. Most hunters build 1 mock scrape and call it good. Build 3 within 15 yards of a single central licking branch instead, roughly the distance from one end of a pickup truck bed to the other, 3 times over, easy to step off without a tape measure. And build the cluster in late summer when the dirt is soft and you have plenty of time before bow season opens. The cluster reads as a community hub, multiple bucks working the same area, which triggers the social investigation response in mature bucks. National Deer Association research has documented that once deer condition to a community scrape location, they return year after year as long as the licking branch stays active. 1 scrape says, "Somebody passed through." 3 scrapes say, "Something is happening here." The biological response is different. Mature bucks investigate community hubs because they want to know who is in their territory. They walk past isolated single scrapes because they have seen 1,000 of them. The 8th secret is cutting every competing licking branch within 100 yards of your mock scrape. If your scrape has a licking branch, but there are 8 other natural licking branches within bow range of your stand, your scrape is one of 9 options. Cut the other 8. Now, your branch is the only option in the zone. Every buck that wants to work a scrape in that area has to come to yours. A hunter on a hunting forum documented daily buck activity on his stand within a week of doing this on a 60-acre property in North Florida, Panhandle Palmetto country. I know that sounds aggressive. It is. It also works. The first time I cleared competing branches on a small piece of family ground in the Mississippi Delta, I had 3 different bucks on camera at my mock scrape within 5 days. Before the cleanup, I had 2 visits in 3 weeks. The 9th secret is positioning yourself where bumped bucks run during opening weekend pressure. When the neighbors push deer off their property at first light on opening day, those deer follow predictable escape routes, creek bottoms, thick draws, cedar strips connecting two timber blocks, anything that gives them cover while they relocate. Identify those escape corridors in August using ONX or Hunt Stand mapping software, and have a stand hung and ready before season opens. On Saturday morning at 6 a.m., when the neighbor's truck door slams and his hunting party crashes through the timber, you are already sitting on the highway every pushed buck is going to use. You are not hunting deer. You are hunting the path pressured deer use to disappear. I killed a 4.5-year-old 9-point in Mississippi Delta hardwoods doing exactly this on opening morning 2 seasons ago. And the buck walked under my stand at 7:42 a.m. with his ears pinned back like he had been chased. The 10th secret is the preorbital gland lure on your licking branch. The preorbital gland is the small slit in front of a deer's eye that they use to deposit identifying scent on overhead branches. 3 or 4 drops of a preorbital lure on your licking branch introduces an unknown buck into the area. Every local buck within range detects it, comes to investigate, and deposits his own scent on the branch, making the spot more attractive to the next buck. Works from July through late season. Faster mock scrape activation than any other method I have tried because it targets the gland deer use most on licking branches. The 11th secret is hunting the date of a historical kill, even 10 years later. And this one sounds superstitious until you understand the biology behind it. The taxidermist I mentioned earlier had a client whose lease produced a 160-inch buck killed at a specific spot on a specific date a decade earlier. Nobody had hunted that exact stand again. The taxidermist told them to go back in the same date window. First day in, the client killed a 137-inch buck. The next day, his wife killed a 140-inch buck from the same tree. The terrain feature that created the original encounter still exists. The doe family group cycling on those dates still exists. The date is the intelligence. The 12th secret is the slow draw. A buck at 25 yards that you need to draw on without spooking is not about getting your bow up fast. It is about staying below the deer's motion detection threshold. BayouGA Deer Lab Vision Research has documented that whitetail visual processing is calibrated to motion speed, not motion size. A draw executed in 8 to 10 seconds may not register as movement at all. A draw executed in 2 seconds triggers immediate alarm. The old bow hunters who consistently killed deer at close range drew in extreme slow motion because they had figured this out by trial and error decades before the science caught up. The 13th secret is the post-rain entry window. The 2 to 4 hours immediately after a rain stops are the highest percentage encounter window of the entire month. Wet ground absorbs every footstep so you can walk silently. Scent molecules washed from the air give you a temporary scent advantage. Deer that were bedded for hours during the rain emerge actively feeding to compensate. And almost no other hunter on your property is going to bother showing up because the morning was rained out. The combination is ridiculous. Drive to the stand the moment the rain stops. Every minute you wait, the window narrows. I have hunted post-rain windows in southern Vermont hardwoods where I had 3 deer in front of my stand within the first 40 minutes after the last raindrop, all of them moving like they had not eaten in 2 days. The 14th secret is hunting the escape route before pressure hits, not after. Same idea as secret number 9, but applied to your own preparation. The most consistent stand locations on pressured properties are escape terrain features, the saddle bucks used to slip out of pressure, the creek bottom that connects 2 timber blocks, the thick draw behind the neighbor's clear cut. Hang those stands in August. Hunt them on opening morning before a single other hunter has moved a deer. You are not reacting to pressure. You are positioned before the pressure happens. The 15th secret is the stagger entry. Get to your stand 75 to 90 minutes before legal shooting light, not 20 minutes. Roughly an hour and a half early. Thermals are still dropping in the cool pre-dawn air. Deer are still moving back to their beds. And you have time to cool down from the walk-in before any deer approach. A hunter who arrives sweating at first light is radiating body heat and scent at exactly the wrong moment. The hunter who arrived 90 minutes earlier has cooled completely, settled into the tree, and become invisible to the thermal current before the first deer takes its final steps toward bed. The 16th secret is reactive rattling. Forget blind rattling into empty timber. That almost never works the way the videos make it look. Reactive rattling is different. The moment you spot a buck at 80 to 150 yards moving away from you or about to disappear into thick cover, immediately start a hard, aggressive rattling sequence with two real shed antlers, not the rubber things. Crash them together hard for 30 seconds. You are competing with his forward momentum, and the only thing that will redirect him is the sound of two bucks fighting close enough to investigate. Response happens within 2 minutes, if it happens at all. Most hunters wait too long, second-guess themselves, and the buck is gone. Reactive rattling requires instant commitment the second you see the situation developing. I have turned 5 bucks with this in the last 3 seasons. I have also failed to turn probably 10 more, so it is not magic. The success rate hovers around a third in my notebook, which is roughly a third more than 0, which is what you get if you watch the buck disappear into the cover without doing anything. But when it works, it is the closest thing to teleportation hunting offers. Look, I put the whole framework into the Buck Hunter's Bible: stand placement, scent control, scouting methods, rut tactics, 90 pages of field-tested material with a quick reference card for the stand. Link in the description, QR code on screen. I almost did not include the 17th secret in this video. It came from an old-timer I met in southern Vermont who hunts a 40-acre piece of mixed hardwoods that has no business holding a mature buck, and somehow does every single year. He calls it the coffee can setup. 1 coffee can of corn, roughly a pound of corn, no more, placed 45 minutes by foot from any road or 2-track. No pile, no feeder, no apparatus. Just a single can dumped in a natural depression under a white oak. He told me he has killed roughly 50 mature bucks over 30 years of hunting that way, and I believe him because the cell camera photos he showed me looked like a controlled study. The remote location combined with the small quantity creates attraction without education. Deer find it, eat it, and never associate the spot with hunting pressure because there is no pressure to associate. Massive big piles of corn under feeders create educated deer that show up at midnight only. 1 coffee can of corn 45 minutes from the road creates a precision setup that big bucks walk into in daylight. Now, before you run out and try this, check your state regulations. Baiting laws vary wildly by state and even by county within some states. What is legal in Northwest Wisconsin will get you a $500 fine in Pennsylvania. 5 minutes on your state wildlife agency website saves you the ticket and the embarrassment. Here is what I want you to take away from all of this. Every secret on this list is built on the same principle. You do not attract a mature buck. You set up his geometry so the path he was already going to take crosses your shooting lane. The horizontal rub post positions him stationary. The scent half moon routes him through your funnel. The figure 8 drag intercepts him from any direction. The mock scrape cluster pulls him in for social investigation instead of casual passage. The first sit rule keeps your best stand uneducated until the day you need it. The escape route stand catches him during pressure. The coffee can setup creates a feeding spot he trusts because nobody hunts it. None of this is about gear. None of it is about money. All of it is about understanding that a mature buck does what a mature buck wants to do, and your only job is to be standing in the right place when he does it. The hunters who consistently kill mature bucks year after year are not luckier than you are. They are not better shots. They are not in better shape. They have figured out the geometry, and they have learned to be patient enough to let the geometry work in their favor. Pick 3 secrets off this list, not all 17. 3. Trying to install all 17 in a single season is how hunters burn out and quit before any of the techniques have time to compound. 3 is the right number. 3 you can actually run, track, and refine. 3 you can hold yourself accountable to. 3 that fit your specific property and your specific stand setup and your specific schedule. The ones that fit your property, your stand setup, and the time you have to invest. Run those 3 for 1 season. Write down what happens, and let the data tell you whether to add a 4th next year. That is how every hunter I know who consistently kills mature bucks built their system. 1 secret at a time, 1 season at a time, 1 notebook page at a time. The buck walks past your stand for one of 2 reasons: because you set it up that way, or because you got lucky. Stop hunting on luck. Start hunting on geometry. The rest of it falls into place once you make that 1 shift. The deer are not the variable. You are. Pick the 3 secrets that fit your ground and start tomorrow morning. By the second week of November, you will know which ones earned a permanent spot in your system and which ones did not. The cameras will tell you. They always do. The data is the only honest voice in deer hunting. Listen to it. Adjust your strategy when it tells you something. And remember that a mature buck does not give you a second chance to learn the lesson he is teaching you. Pay attention the first time. There is no second chance with a buck that has 6 years of survival experience and 297 million olfactory receptors working against you.